One of the biggest benefits of becoming a day trader, and the reason why most people turn to this particular industry, is because they're able to do it from the comfortability of their own home, as long as you have an internet connection, a desktop or a laptop computer. You are able to engage in the markets and look for opportunities in which you can trade. Now, I trade the future markets and I use range-based charts to trade from. I'm not a time-based or ticker volume style type of guy that is using those particular charts. So I like range-based charts. Why? Because they're cleaner to the eye. I can see when the volumes come into the market. They are calculated differently than like a time-based chart, which, you know, you have candles that open and close based on a period or set period of time. All right. So that's one of the biggest opportunities or benefits of being able to become a day trader. Now, there is risk involved. Everybody needs to understand that. And there's a couple of things you're going to need. Of course, you're going to have to need the capital to be able to do so. You're going to have the time. You're going to have to become a disciplined and patient individual. You're going to need to educate yourself on one of the most important principles or concepts, which is market structure, and that is being able to read and determine the flow and the direction in which you need to trade. I do it each and every day before I, start just jumping into any type of setups. I always look at my higher base chart, and I tell anyone who's starting off, once you conquered market structure, look at a higher base chart to determine which way is the market moving and trade in the direction or with the market as it's moving in that direction, okay? Try your best not to do any counter trend trading. Now, some people like to call it supply and demand. Some people like to call it order blocks. It doesn't really matter because they are the same exact thing. I trade looking for zones based around supply areas or demand areas. That's what I'm looking at 100% of the time almost, okay? All right? So I stick to what has been working for me for 14 plus years now, and have found consistency in doing so. Now, some of you may need to work on, some means of a psychological issue or, fault you may have. It could be maybe you are jumping into your trades way too early. Maybe there's that fear component that's setting on the inside of you to where you get nervous and you start clamming up. Maybe you have FOMO. A lot of people experience that. Maybe you just don't understand how to read the market. And if that be the case, please do yourself the biggest favor before you start making some of the biggest mistakes and start to blow through capital or blow your prop firm challenges or even evaluation accounts, whatever they may be. Master the concept. I'm going back to market structure. It is going to be your saving grace and the difference of you succeeding and making money and becoming profitable in this business, one way or the other, okay? Now, the title of what you see here is, yes, a insane or crazy strategy that allows you to make $750 a day. Is that possible? Yes, it is very, very much possible, especially if you're trading the E-minis, but you have to be a very disciplined individual or trader to be able to look for opportunities, whether it's supply or demand zones. Okay. So in today's market and looking at it, I'm telling you right now, the only thing I've been trading, especially, looking at structure from yesterday, especially when the market started closing and it started breaking below this area structure right here at 19,935. I am looking for purely opportunities to go short after it's breaking structure to the downside and continuously breaking through lows or areas of structure. I'm only looking for shorts. Now, I took and scalped using, and I talk about this, the strategy in which I trade across so many videos here on the channel. So please do yourself a favor. Start with today's video and go backwards. Don't go all the way to the beginning of the channel over 2+ years ago, maybe 3 years now, and start there. Start from where we're at today and work yourself going back, because that's going to provide you with some of the most updated and relevant information surrounding the strategy and how I actually trade. Again, the market conditions are always changing, and we as traders have to change and adapt just as well. I took 2 shorts today, and I will be breaking these trades down for our elite channel members. Okay, if you want to become an elite channel member, the link is down in the description portion of the video. It's only $6.99 a month. That's where you get all the trade breakdown videos. These are trades that I post over on the Discord community, which is free, okay? And that link is down below as well. But I break down these trades so you grasp an understanding of market structure, why I took the trade, where I'm looking to take profit at, why I placed my stop loss in certain areas. I break these things down so you can look for similar setups and you can, basically understand how to trade, the same type of setups, okay? So, again, there are tons of trade breakdown videos that are already there posted for the private community, as well as you get, the video playlist, which is a series of videos to which I feel are valuable content that people need to watch to really grasp an understanding of the strategy, as well as the video, as well as a great video that I covered surrounding structure if you're struggling with that concept, all right? So again, figure out the direction. Again, if you're looking at your higher base chart, and I'm trading and looking at my 120 range chart, that's what I start with, and I see the market making lower lows and lower highs, I'm only interested in looking for opportunities to go short. Yes, today was a slight bit challenging, being that we just were selling off all day with not any significant pullbacks to, say, for example, a 120 range zone. So that's when I maybe will scale down to a lower base chart, the 60 range chart, which is in between my, say, 120 and my 24 range. My 24 range chart is the chart that I actually take my entries off of, okay? That's where I execute my trades off of. But I'm looking for, this is the biggest goading piece of information that, or one of the biggest nuggets that you'll probably take away from this video is multi-chart confluence. Marking up a higher base chart and then meaning a zone, supply and demand, order block, then moving down to a lower base zone, okay? Or lower base, a lower base chart. So as you can see right here, you see that pink box? That's from the 160, I'm sorry, the 60 range, not 160, the 60 range chart, all right? So I had to scale down and find an opportunity where there was an area of demand resting there. Not demand, supply, guys. I'm sorry. Supply if we're moving to the downside. So if you're looking, or we have aggressive selling, you should only be looking for setups or pullbacks to key areas of supply. And in verse of, if we are aggressively bullish to the upside where the market is constantly breaking structure, you should be looking for like demand areas for the market to pull back to take a long going back in that same direction. Now, this is a supply area here, and the pink box is the supply zone from the 60 range, and then my this yellow box or yellow outline box, that's where I'm finding the confluence at on my 24 range chart, okay? Moving down. What does that allow me to do? Trading is all about looking for high probability setups to where you have multiple means of confluence, right? Okay, and we want to take and we want to look for those trades where we have high probability setups. I talk about that in lots of videos. What marks a high probability versus a low probability level or zone? It's all about the imbalance or gap resting back at the zone. So there were two opportunities here in which I took trades, one here and one here. Higher base I use, looking for supply off the higher base chart, 60 range to start with, because I couldn't find anything on my 120. So I mark the higher base zone first and then move down to see if you can find a supply area on the inside of the first box you're drawing up from your, whatever higher base chart you're using. For me, it's 60 range, okay? So that's what I'm looking to do and how I trade. And that's how I'm able to look for these sniper based on entries to basically get in and get out fairly quick. I'm a scalper. I don't like to hold a trade for hours on end or for days on end. So if you're a swing or position style trader, this same strategy can work for you, but you probably have to use, bigger or much larger time frame charts or higher base charts to be able to do so. Okay. Some people trade from like maybe, a 60-minute chart directly as their entry chart or 4-hour chart. And then, they're marking zones up on a daily base chart, something like that, but I don't trade time-based charts. I strictly stick with the range-based charts, and that's what's been working for me because I like to scalp. Now, my goal is to, if I can get at least a 20-point move on the market or more, I'm done, okay? One and done. I don't need to be in a number of trades. That's where most people make the biggest mistake, is taking 4, 5, 6, 7. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Okay. If you're just trying to really train yourself, or going through the testing mode to see what works, what doesn't work, that's okay. But even when you're in demo or simulation, you want to be trading just as if you are using your own currency. You mean using your own money, all right? Because the reason why is that if you are just in simulation and demo and you're not taking it serious, how serious are you going to take it once you convert over, make that switch to start going live? You're not. And then you're going to start losing money, okay? All right? Because I hear people say this all the time. I seem to do a whole lot better in demo and simulation than I do trading live. Yeah, because you're really not taking it as serious, all right? Treat it the same way. Gear your mind in some way or another to where if you got fear and you get a little clammed up and stressed and you start sweating when you got money on the line when you click to go live, that same feeling should be where you are in demo and simulation, all right? I don't know what it is with people, when they make that switch over, it's like they're a totally different person. It's night and day. You can't be like that. If you do, you're going to not succeed in this business. And taking way too many setups, that's a no-no. You're going to really start either blowing through capital, blowing your prop firm accounts, and at some point, either you're going to stop trading or you're just going to go through a vicious cycle, and I don't know where it could go from there. You can spiral really out of control, okay? So please protect your psyche, your psychology. Train yourself. I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest things that I found over the years of trading was that I had to change who I was and work on myself as a trader. And it also has helped me in my own personal life because I've identified things through trading that has helped me. One, become more of a patient person, not only sitting here on the charts but also in how I handled things on a daily basis, not rushing to or making a decision. Step back, okay? Be a little bit more logical about the decisions that you make in your own real life. That has helped me when it comes to trading, all right? So you'll start to find some things out about yourself in time as you go through this motion or journey of trying to educate and train yourself on trading that you never knew about yourself before. And it's a good thing because then you know how to kind of, you probably find some good things and some bad things, whatever the case is. But this will help iron out any kinks or issues or problems that you may be struggling with in your own, trading, okay? But anyways, outside of that, I mean, the way, like I said, I like to scalp. I'm looking for these quick in and out entries, and it's very simple, the strategy as itself. I created this, and it's not complex at all. You're just looking for chart confluence. That's all it is. Start with the higher base chart, okay? Mark up high probability zones, all right, off the higher base, and then move down to your lower base to look for those sniper entries on your entry chart where a new zone is on the inside of a higher base zone. So for example, like I just showed right here, we'll look at an example from earlier today. I saw someone, this was a beautiful setup here. You had on the 100, let's go to the 120 because that's where things really start off with right here. For example, you have this beautiful setup. We have a push down, pull back. The market comes down and slightly breaks below this area right here, okay? So we got a slight break of structure below this area here because it wicked with that candle below it. But then it pulls back and we have an aggressive area of selling right here. So it's supply zone, all right? We're already bearish because we've broken below this low here. So we're moving to the downside now, right? Pull back to a key area. The blue box is the 120 range supply zone, right? So we mark that up. That magenta box on the inside or outline box is the 60 range supply zone, okay? And we got a supply area on the inside of the larger base zone. That's the key, is mark up the higher base zone first, like right here on your higher base chart, okay? Then as the market's pulling back, find yourself an area where there is a supply zone, in this case here. It could be demand if we were, moving to the upside. But pulling back to this area right here on the inside of the higher base chart in which you marked the first zone from, okay? You get the rejection, go short. As simple as that. It's not a very complex strategy, but spend some time watching the videos. And I would recommend anyone out there that is interested, you may want to become an elite channel a supporter or member. The link is down below, right below the Discord link. If you click on the link and you want to join, make sure to choose the second tier for $6.99 a month. That's like 24 or 25 cents a day. That's all it is. Pennies on the day. But you're probably going to learn a lot, I can almost assure you. And you don't have to take it from me. You can ask the Discord members, some people that are part of the community, and they'll tell you there's lots of valuable information there. It helps you understand these trades so you can look for the similar setups. Not just that, but to understand where to place your stop loss at, where to, how to engage once you get into a trade, where to take profit in, things like that. But one of the biggest things is I also like to break down structure before I take these setups, okay? So I just wanted to talk about this today and how you can look for these quick in and out type, trades, basically scalping or becoming a quick sniper within the market using this, very, very, very useful and successful strategy, okay? You can make $500 a day, $700, and the sky is only the limit. Again, you can do this, become your own boss, start your own business, or want to do it part-time or full-time. It's up to you. But you could primarily be anywhere. I mean, you could be on vacation, sitting on the beach somewhere and taking 1 or 2 trade setups a day, even on vacation, and basically recoup the money you're spending on a daily basis, each and every day as you're enjoying your time, making some money, right? Nothing like it. Nothing like spending less than an hour a day and making a little bit of, extra cash, right? But that's all I have, guys. I just wanted to share this with you today and let you know that it is truly possible. You've got to put some time into it. And that's the reason why I create these videos pretty much on a daily basis. And with the elite channel supporter group or member group, that's why I also break the trades down, because I want people to kind of find a quicker edge and try to curve that edge for people a lot sooner than it took me. My biggest problem was, and everybody probably can tell a story about the hurdles they went through, but for me it was all about trying to read the market, understanding, and it took me almost 2 years to really figure out, when I thought that I was understanding, understood how to read the market, I really didn't. I had to really sit myself down, go through and with the clean slate to really look at things and understand structure. I took everything off the charts, spent time, weeks and weeks and weeks, hundreds of hours to really look through and back test, weeks on end, looking at the market, okay? Because the market is always shifting. It's always doing something different, okay? I'll leave it there. But that's all I have today, guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time to really spend with me today to watch the video content. Again, I have some very, very, very great content on the channel. Spend some time watching it as well. But if you want to become an elite member or a Discord member, the Discord's free. Both links are down below. Outside of that, if you're not a current subscriber, please take the time to sub by clicking on the subscribe button down below. Make sure to turn your post notifications on by clicking the bell, okay? And that's going to ensure that you never miss one of the uploads that I post or when I post them, okay? But that's all I have today. I appreciate it. If you could do me the biggest favor before you click the exit button off this video here, click that like button for me, that thumbs up button. I appreciate it. Take care and see you in the next one.